back, Houston Rockets Nation. It's your usual host, Preston here, or you can call me Drip God. I got my usual guys here, Coach Dante over here, Pastor over there, and then special guest, Madison Moore. Hello, everybody. How's it going, guys?
All is well. No complaints, really.
Good.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here today, man.
Always glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a good day. Y'all guys are like super down, bro. Like,
we're
one day from the Steven Silas stuff.
I'm not down.
Steven Silas' last game in Washington. It was really good to see his last game in Washington. It was really good to see it.
You know, it was crazy to me. We'll get to it, but man, they really canned him before the game was even over, before they even got to the presser. That was awesome. That was the Frank Vogel treatment to him right away. But guys, let's jump right into it. We're gonna start talking about the slate of games, the last 3 games, that little nice 3-game win streak ahead against Denver, Charlotte, and Washington. Then we're going to talk about Silas' legacy, the Silas experience, if you will. That'll be really fun. I hope you guys are excited for that. It's going to be the main event, if you will. And then we'll talk about some odds and ends stuff, some thoughts, concerns, Grant Williams, maybe, Scott Brooks. But we'll get into it. All right, guys.
It's 3 games, like our longest win streak this year, too.
I think we had a 4-game win streak around the All-Star break, either before or after. But other than that, yeah, 3 games is definitely going to be up there. Especially considering we only won 22 games this year. But it's our best. It's our best record, 22-60 so far with Silas. Let's start it off here with the first game against Denver, 124-104. I thought it was a pretty good game overall. Jalen Green had 32, 6, and 4. Really nice to see that from our boy, obviously speaking. And we had KPJ out here with 23 and 9. Point guard, question mark? We had Jabari with 16, 13, and 1 assist. We like to see it. Those 16 points and 13 rebounds were really key from Jabari coming down the stretch here. And then Şengün just really battling against this idol. Not afraid at all, per quote, after the post game. 20, 10, and 7. Love to see it from Şengün. We beat them by +8 on the rebounds with a total of 55, which, again, our rebounding has been our best quality so far. I love to see it. And points to the paint, 62. Beating them again by +8. Love it, love it. And then on top of that, with those battling the boards, getting it through the paint and mucking it up, we shot 24 free throws and 74%, which is, I believe, above our average of 71.8% on the season. Love it. And yeah, 3-point percentage was, again, above our normal, almost 40%, which is fantastic for our young core. I love to see it, love to see it. And then for turnovers, we have 13. I'd say keeping the turnovers down was also a high key takeaway there. Guys, any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, man. I love that we had a case of Şengün shunning. Shunning his idol. Bro, that was like it's more, not even like fantastic to see. It was just more or less like I guess a delight, because I have like a slight distaste towards Jokic as it currently stands. So having my young guy come in and dominate and really get at Jokic. I mean, like, it was at one point the camera panned to Jokic, and it was like you could tell that he was like, it was not jealousy, but it definitely like envy in that game when looking at Şengün go ham on him. So I was like super excited that Şengün, kind of went out there. This is one of the games that I believe, if I remember properly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is like one of the best or better Şengün defensive games as far as like his activity and such.
Yes.
So yeah, like I was super like proud of the young man of getting out there. Like, see, like when you look at the stats and you kind of break them down, it seems as if like it was like an all-around, well-rounded game for like the whole team. But like I really, even with that being said, Şengün really stood out, and that says a lot about that young guy. So yeah, I was like really happy to see him turn up against his idol. That was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that was really nice to see about that was he was able to hold Jokic to 7-13 shooting and only 14 points.
They had to bench him, bro.
Yeah, man, yeah. Bro only played 24 minutes that game. Crazy.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah, we were on Jokic that game. we made them turn it over a bit, man, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter.
Right.
I thought overall, man, the Rockets all played a pretty good game. Yeah, I mean, Alperen Sengun as well, like very solid. It was within the flow of the game, and I thought his rotations and hands are really good. And you can start to see Alperen is starting to get a lot better on defense. He's starting to read and anticipate what defenses are doing. That IQ on the offensive end is starting to really come around on the defensive end in the ways that we would hope. And he has really good hands, like anticipation hands and stuff like that. But yeah, and I was really proud of the game that Jalen Green had. I mean, he had a monster fourth quarter after not getting any calls all game, especially in that.
Oh, we lost him for a second. It's good.
Madison.
Hey, meanwhile, while we wait for him, another thing is like I'm always like super, I guess like positive whenever like our forwards or our forward and our center, so Jabari and Sengun get a double together. Like I think that like there may be something like around that too that's like trendy. At least I hope. You know what I mean? Like I hope that like moving forward as we get ready for next season too, that we can see more of that or get more of that from these guys, bro. Double doubles are like, I think are hard generally, like just to get them more consistent. I think for the last stretch of the 10 games, we've seen that more often from those two. At least one of them guys getting a double. So if they both can, you know what I mean? Like I would say, I don't know, would you guys be comfortable with 18 or 20 from Jabari? Would you guys be in that 18 to 20 range?
Yeah, that's very comfortable, man. If
as far as 20 and scored, 10, right?
Yeah, if he's an 18 and 10 guy.
Right. But I'm saying, with that being said, you're saying 18 and 10 from Jabari, and then you're saying, I mean, Sengun has a ceiling that is like super weird. Because like even if he gave you 18 and 10, like 5 to 7 assists is coming with that. So it's always like, you know what I mean? So what does that even look like? If Jabari is an 18 and 10 guy, 18 and 12, I mean, bro, getting that from Sengun too, I think he could easily be a 20 and 10 guy himself. That's a hell of a front court as far as like attacking the boards. Like hence why, like when you said earlier, like we've been dominating the boards. Imagine them two, and then you already know the effort you get from Tari, bro. Like that's like a fantastic lineup. Working with those, bro. I hope it trends to next season. Like I hope they get even better, understand their position on the floor, understand like how to work better with each other. Like not to get ahead of ourselves. Like I don't want to break up this shit. I don't want to break up these young guys yet. I want to see it through because, bro, double machines that are paired together. I don't know where else I've seen it at. But these guys are uber talented, and then they're getting doubles together. That's a good sign for me.
Facts.
I've been really impressed with Jabari Smith play ever since the Indiana game. He's really took a big leap up ever since that game, since he tied it up against New Orleans. You're starting to see him grow a little bit. Not afraid to take tough shots. He's starting to feel, like I said, feel confident in his jump shot. And you see him start to take that, get the rebound and dribble up the court, that three with confidence. That's one thing what I like about Jabari Smith. And he uses his height. He's starting learning how to use his height a little bit more. You start seeing him get the rebound and immediately go up strong. And I've been really impressed with Jabari Smith since that Pacers game. He's been really shooting consistently, playing great defense, blocking shots at the rim, moving his feet a little more better. That's something we campaigned about Jabari Smith. We want to see him grow, and we definitely seen him grow after the All-Star break. But Jalen Green had a great game against the Denver Nuggets, man. I liked this game he played. He stepped up, hit 4 threes in this game. We was really aggressive too. 24 free throws, really aggressive, going to the basket, attacking the rim, getting to the foul line. When we do that, we show aspects of being a really solid team, young team. So I like the aggressiveness. We have been the last 3 games. We've been getting to the free throw line over 20 times these last 3 games. That's showing us that we've been aggressive. We're going to the paint. We're attacking the paint. And I've been really impressed with that.
And to that, like Jalen, I feel like has been trending upwards, at least like incrementally, as far as like how he attacks the rim. I don't think like he's like in the like echelon yet, or even like near the echelon yet, as far as like attacking the rim just yet. I know he can get there fast, but like certain defensive set, I feel like get to him. Nonetheless, though, Finishing with his left has been like a thing over the last like few stretch of games. So I've been like super proud of that. And then finishing those like weird shots that weird layups or acrobatic layups he like to take. I think like that's been super great too. So to your point, over the last 3 games, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line has been a thing. Points in paint and free throw attempts have been a thing. And I think it like coincides with just how or the mindset that they have with going to the rim. That being said, though, also Jabari, I just want to mention because he left it out, was like transition. So like attacking the rim in transition too. He's been putting the ball on the floor a lot better.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then the way that he puts it on the floor. So it's not like all goofy and like a weird baby, I don't know, baby deer or whatever. Like he's actually like getting to the rim, understanding his assignment, using his length and his height to, like you said. I mean, I believe it was this game. He was even like getting physical with people at some point. Yes. You know what I mean? So it was like incredible. But nonetheless, I'm just saying, like, for sure, there's been like a mindset shift, and I think that like that's good. You know what I mean? Like again, I always like I was talking to people on Rockets Watch, and I'll say to a lot of people whenever I had these conversations, like I'm only worried that like if we kind of have this same scenario like we did last season, where we get that last stretch of the season, everyone's doing some things right, and then we go into the next season and they forget, what did I do right last season? Or how do I continue that?
They forgot to play ball, man.
Right. So I hope they like keep up the good things. Like one thing I'll say for everybody, or just for the 3, I for sure, like Jalen, don't forget to like use your left next season, right? Jabari, continue to be strong. Continue to be strong and attack the rim. Like I think as of late, he's been really getting inside shots more than outside shots. Continue that trend because you can shoot, bro. Like that's not an issue. Just continue to attack the rim. Get what's easy, and everything else will just come to you, right? And I just want to see also like Alperen Sengun just continue to be active on defense. Everything else will fit in, like everything else will come. Everything else will come. You're good, and I just don't forget that, please. Just don't forget. Anyway,
and I'll just add. I mean, I think if the team had played like they're playing post All-Star break the entire season, Silas might still have his job.
Hey,
you know what I mean? And it's crazy to see because we were never really asking for wins this season from these young Rockets. We were asking for competence. We were asking for you to put an on-court product that looks sustainable and that you can build off of. Yeah, like the difference in Jalen Green's shot selection now and before the All-Star break, night and day, right? And it's like his efficiency. You wouldn't notice like his efficiency hasn't changed that much. It just went up a little bit. You know what I mean? But now you understand what you need to work on, right? Like now you're taking the correct shots. Like and he understands how to draw fouls, and he was getting foul calls the entire year. But the way he's getting foul calls is a bit different. The way he's using change of pace and getting to the rim is a bit different now. And what it is it's sustainable. You know what I mean? It's this building of a structure within the offense that you can see players getting better within, right? And so now, Jalen Green, like, as we'll talk about with some of the other games, like Jalen Green sometimes gets to the rim and misses a layup, right? But the process by which he's getting to the rim is sustainable. So when the strength comes, like, which is one of his improvement areas, when he adds more core strength, when he you know what I mean? Those layups, he'll be more on balance to make those type of shots. He'll be able to knock his defender off, eat more easy, and finish through contact, right? I think a lot of his finishing issues is just him not finishing through contact well. You know what I mean? Not maintaining balance well. You know what I mean? And then we know what he can do with the circus shots. You kind of talked about it earlier. He has the talent to make really tough shots, but it's about generating more of those easy shots. And I think a lot of that is going to deal with core strength. But, I mean, these young guys have all improved over the course of this season. They finally are playing the right way, sharing the ball in the right way, giving more effort on defense. And like you guys said, Jabari, I think Jabari's defense, his rotations are much better. I mean, he's actually protecting the rim, like a rim protector at times in his rotations, right? Like help side rim, not chase down blocks, but actual rim protection beating you to the
Yeah,
spot.
blocks it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, using his length to contest at the point, right? And so that's why it's like, okay, these young guys are starting to put it all together, and I think that's what's really, really encouraging. And it was great to see them get that win against Denver, which is one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
and a team that the Rockets struggle against. They struggle against teams who have a lot of off-ball action and a lot of good passing, and it was really encouraging to see that the guys played so well against them.
Yeah, they definitely went in with a mission, right? Like at least it felt so. So I definitely I like that about them. And I'll finish with this on that. It's two things I'll add, and we go to the next game for sure. Jalen Green's escape package. Someone else brought it to my attention. I thought was like something that's true. It's sustainable too, right? You would agree, Madison? I think that is something that he can continue to grow on. And then I need for defense, I'll just get on your ass only because I just need you to stop. Everything else you have been getting better at, but stop reaching, Jabari, please. Like you get so many foul calls for the knick-knack ass reaches you get. Please just until you learn when to reach, just put it aside in the back pocket for now, and we'll figure it out later.
He wants them cookies, man. It's him and Tari, man. They really like to try to get up in there,
but
man.
Tari, Tari get after it. Like he take the ball from people, man. Like,
he got that big boy strength.
I mean, I don't mind too much. Yes, the reaching is a lot right now, but NBA players are just too good, and a lot about what reaching is doing is not even to get the steal, but just to throw off somebody's rim.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just to, so defenders know how important it is to give the threat of a reach, and it's something I think all of them really have. They're just not good enough at stuff yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like we generate a lot of good shots. People just aren't good enough 3-point shooters yet. People just aren't good at, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's one of the things as well. I agree. They got to just, learn when to reach and when to pick those spots.
I agree.
Definitely, yeah. And hopefully next year we'll have a shot creator and some point guard that'll be able to help us. Not named Daisha Nix, but we'll see what happens, I hope.
Nix.
I said not named. Oh my god, we gotta name him at least one time a show. Moving on, boys. Moving on. This is another W here. 112-109 with Charlotte. This was quite the interesting game in the fourth quarter. They're really losing the lead, but we won, so we'll take it, I suppose. This is a pity win in my opinion. Jalen Green with 26, 3, and 6, and Kevin Porter Jr. 26, 3, and 5. Those twins coming out once again, man. It was beautiful to see those two work. Alperen Şengün with a career high in rebounds. He had 14 points, 20 rebounds, and 3 assists. Beautiful that our big three, I don't know if you want to call them big three, but 3 of our starters really just had pretty solid games all around. Not necessarily big 3, calm down, Pastor, but
no, I was just thinking out loud. I'm sorry. Sorry.
It was all good. And then we did lead again in rebounds. We had 48 total rebounds and a +7, which is very nice to see. And again, as we're crashing those rebounds, we get in the second chance points. We get points in the paint. We had 64 points in the paint, a +20 on Charlotte, man. We really muscled in. And again, when you throw them body to body, you know what happens. We get those free throws. We had 28 free throws as a team, which is beautiful. We shot 75%, made 21 of them. Beautiful to see from our team. Something I would really like to say before we get everyone else's thoughts and concerns out is I don't know what wanted to happen at the end of the game here where we had I think we had a 14-point lead, and it just kept dwindling, and Bros was making threes left and right. I didn't even heard this dude, Makaluk, shooting the lights out against us, man. I don't know what the heck happened.
He's been going ham.
He was.
Yeah. No, it ain't just the Rockets though. He's been playing well.
Yeah. I don't know too much about Makaluk, but I'm not gonna lie. This is the first game I've ever heard of this dude, and it's just another game where dude wants to drop 4, 5, 6 threes against us just because we can't play perimeter defense at all whatsoever, and we almost lost the league because of it.
How must other teams feel when Gary Bird was dropping bombs? So, I feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is this karma retribution coming back at us?
Topic though, 3-point specialists in the league, which I feel like is a dying breed, by the way. It's always we don't even appreciate them anymore, right? So I think so for I was listening to the Wizards broadcast, right? Yeah, I was listening to their broadcast, and they were talking about him. They're like, "Well, I hope he comes back next season." He's like, he can work on his defense. It's like, nah, I want him to shoot lights out, shoot 50%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let him be a specialist. Let him be a spark off the bench. You know, instead of like making him be something else that he's not. You know. Anyway, that's just my thing on 3-point special. Like, I don't know if you guys know who like Jason Capono is and all that stuff. Yeah, those are okay. So those are my vibes, bro. Like, I love 3-point specialists. That's why like 3-point contest isn't what it is anymore. But we don't have to get into that. I'm just saying, like, leave McAuliffe alone. Just keep shooting, brother.
Yeah, it works. Obviously, I mean,
yeah.
Man, almost single-handedly brought them the W, and that last second 3-point, if that would have gone in to send us to overtime, bro, I don't know what I would have done. We should have lost this game, to be honest, because we just let them crawl back. But we won, thank gosh. And again, like the similar thing between these three games, it's the rebounds, the hard-fought points of the paint, and the free throws, which is absolutely awesome. I believe we shot 24 or more free throws between all three of these games. But yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts on these games or on this game? And let me know.
What is it between? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I think Jalen had one of the more crazier dunks I've ever seen him had in this game as well. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where the explosiveness came to dunk that ball, because he was kind of just cruising through the lane down the stretch, and then he kind of even like double pumped it. You know what I mean? Almost like a baby windmill to kind of get the ball around one of the defenders. And I was just like, Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, and for me, like, I think I'm waiting for Jalen to be more and more explosive, and I think he started to use that in the lane. But it's just strength right now. It's strength. And one of the things that he did to get that shot was he split the trap. You know what I mean? And that's something I think that's so important for him. And he's so quick, right? He's so quick. He's going to be able to do that a lot of times, and he's had trouble with guys trapping him in those situations all year. And I've been saying one of the things is not only you need to be able to make that pass out of there, but you have to be able to split it from time to time. So teams will back up off you a little bit as well. And he split it in that instance and dunked it through the lane. And I just believe that should be something Jalen should be able to do all the time. And he really needs to add that to his playoff package. I mean, his crossover package. And it was something he did in Toronto. I just say he did it more. He did it more last year, but we hadn't seen it as much this year.
Oh, just to that point, and I just want to add, if you have something else, please continue. Was that this is a conversation I've had before, and my theory is that it's because of the duties that he has, which are like exhausting. This is like another reason you don't see like KPJ go for 50 anymore. So like that's one element, and then two, because of how we play, I feel like the defense is easier for them to stop it with the help defenders and stuff like that. So they clog the lane, they stop them, they reach, like what you're saying, and then like he has to be forced to either like pass or split, which he's not like prolific at yet, right? So he's not strong enough. He's not the greatest playmaker, and I don't think he attacks all the time with the right moves to get past the defenders or to split efficiently enough, right? So like it's just like a combination of things that just like aren't there yet, and then like the situation that he's in. But I feel like, nothing against KPJ today, but with a different offense, a different point guard that can set him up, you will get way more attacking Jalen in a way. You know what I mean? I feel like it'll be way more easier. It'll catch the defense off guard a lot more because they have to focus it elsewhere. Like I kind of pay attention to how other teams play defense. A lot of times, wherever the ball is at, everyone shift their heads towards the ball. For us, a lot of times, like they like all collapse on the paint whenever like our playmakers have the ball. So it's super weird. Or I'm sorry, when they have the ball in attacking the rim. So like it's just super weird about like how teams play us, and it's just different. So as it currently stands, I just think that it's just not a good situation for him to like attack all the time, and it just may be daunting or like exhausting for him as it currently stands. No inputs on that? No vibes. Well, look, I'll say this. I was curious to know, like, I wonder what like the NBA correlation between like points in the paint and free throws. Like, I don't know them, so I'm not like this like analyst guy. I'm just like always think about this. So, like when I saw plus 20, I was like, whoa, nah, that's not like that can't be normal. But when you watch it and you know the context, is because like the Wizards like shot more threes than us, so like it made more sense, right? But like at the same time, like I wonder, like, is there like a positive correlation, and is that like a I guess, strategy, like attack the paint, win the paint, and then get to the free throw line. I feel like I've heard other people say that before. Am I tripping? Like, I feel like that is like a way that certain teams play, like the Spurs. I feel like the Spurs do that a lot. But I don't know. I could just be tripping.
I just think we're extremely paint heavy because we get so many offensive rebounds, and and our guards are always going downhill. And honestly, we're just not a really good 3-point shooting team, and so we don't settle. You know what I mean? We don't settle, right? And so we try and score in the paint. We also have Alper and Şengün. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a paint demon. It's just a real big strength of ours. And I think we just lean on
it more.
Yeah, we just lean on it more. And our guys aren't the best kick out guys as well for shooting.
Wait. Are you referring to like Tari Eason maybe?
I'm referring to all of them, but Tari, Jesus Christ.
Tari, even though he could, he doesn't either.
He wants it, man. Man gets not bored. He just see red.
It's some players, like Tari actually has the talent to make passing reads. Like I've seen Tari make a really good kick out passing read. You know what I mean? It's like when you see Josh Christopher really can't make that. He doesn't see the floor. Even when he's trying to pass in certain situations, he doesn't have the talent to make the passing read. And I think that's like the difference between Tari. That's why I got hope for Tari. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, no, actually, Tari, you can pass the ball if you just ever look up. But I understand his mentality. He's a junkyard dog type of guy. And he say, well, if I'm getting this rebound or if it swings to me with the clock under 10, I'm going to the rim, and that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it is what it is, dog, and it's going to have mixed results, and that's just something he's going to have to grow with. But at least I've seen Tari make good passes before.
Yeah, that's fair. As long as he dunks it, I don't have a problem with him because sometimes he misses.
He be missing the dunks too, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Jesus. Give him a little bias, man. It's hard to transition into the league.
I really just also wish he understood that if he got an offensive rebound and there's 4 people around him, that there's going to be wide open shoes, bro. Like you do not have to go back up with that. Yeah, like you.
Is that the IQ thing that people were referring to pre-draft? Is that the
So the IQ thing, I think, was largely tied to what they said. That what they said was he couldn't remember plays. He couldn't remember plays but for me, that's something I saw in his draft tape, that he's just extremely tunnel vision. Like the shots going up, and I felt like he was always getting something at the rim, up at the rim. Like the missed layups are all over his LSU tape during his evaluation. Like when I watched his film, he had plenty of these missed layups, but he was just putting it back, getting it back, putting it back. Like he's doing the exact same things, bro.
He did at LSU.
Same things. I think the more stuff he has to realize is sometimes he helps off the wrong defender. Like, hey, bro, if Klay Thompson is the guy that
you're assigned to,
you're assigned to, you can't be over helping, dog. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't recognize, and that happens to a lot of guys. But I think that's one of the things that I noticed with Tari. And sometimes he gets these home run steals, and sometimes as fans we like, oh, he's making stuff happen. It's just like, yeah, but he just neglected the hell out of his assignment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like he has to learn how to balance it and when to hedge on those type of things.
I agree. I agree. I think that like it's a double-edged sword. It works because it's high effort, so it makes sense and all. But man, I mean, you hate. I'm sorry. It's hard to hate the guy. You know what I mean? It's hard to hate what he does. His effort is there. I love the way he played ball. But yeah, that there are improvements to be made. I wonder, can they be made though? You know what I mean? I wonder how far is he from a finished product as it pertains to his decision making. Maybe it just comes with comfort. I don't know. I don't want to project out that too far, but I wonder how much better can he be as a passer or on ball defender, et cetera, et cetera. So those things obviously worry me, but I like the current Tari we have, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean everyone wants him. I know, and later on we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the DC game. Pastor, I know you were talking about last night. The DC guys. the commentators, they were talking about some, yeah, man, we'll take Tari if you guys don't.
Yeah, we won't Tari.
Like, man. Nah, bro, Tari ours, bro. Leave us alone, bro. We ain't giving up for nothing. But
I want to ask you, Madison, do you think that, like, how far from the ceiling do you think Tari is as we get to the next game?
Mean, I don't think he's far from the ceiling. I think, number one, I think his on-ball defense has to improve. I think that was one of the things that I was a bit disappointed with him this year. But the tools are all there, and I think he'll be fine. It's just he's a rookie. He has to learn the tricks of the trade. He has to understand what he can and cannot do and who he can and cannot give space to. I think he has to start thinking the game at a high enough level. But he's the type of guy, he's just going to out-hustle you. And so right now, he's just out-hustling everybody, and it's giving an impact. But in order for him to hit his ceiling and be the starter, the defensive wing, lead defensive wing, the PJ Tucker, the Jay Crowder, the Trevor Ariza, that in order for him to be that type of guy, he's gonna have to start thinking the game at a higher level. But I think he's very capable of it. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna be asking him to do create. You know what I mean? No, when the ball swings to you, Tari can beat you off the bounce, and he can shoot open threes. I thought he shot the 3-ball well this year. Very surprised that he shot so well. You know what I mean? And so I think he's a 36 to 40% 3-point shooter in this. You know what I mean? When the ball swings to him, he needs to be able to. I think he's an excellent slasher. You know what I mean? They're able to
by far. I agree.
To the paint, right? And he just has to be. He just needs to recognize. Hey, guys are packing the paint. I need to pass this out. Hey, although I used all this energy to get this ball, maybe I shouldn't go back up with it because there's 5 people around me, and I should pass it to one of these open shooters on the perimeter. It's just like, you remember when PJ Tucker used to get all those offensive rebounds and kick it back out? You know what I mean? Right. He's like, no, I'm going back up. You know what I'm saying? Recognition. It's just a recognition of who you are in the context of the team and what you can bring, and understanding and being the best at it in that role. And sometimes you'll have the opportunity to put it back up, but that's the difference between winning. You know what I mean? Like having a play and maximizing a winning play, and you just just playing really hard. You know what I mean? So I think he's not that far off, but he's for me, a lot of people are asking him to start and stuff like that. I don't think he's there yet because he still has some personnel issues, understanding what he can and can't do. But that's perfectly normal for a rookie.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always forget he's a rookie. I said this earlier a few pods ago. It's I always grade him as if he's a second or third year player. It's man, you should make them. It's come on, bro. He's just as fresh as all. So yeah, man, give us some time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? He's ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean,
does that matter that he's 21? So maybe it's because of the extra 2 years and understanding. No,
I just think he's out hustling people, bro.
Yeah, he's out working.
He's getting and he has a special skill. He has a talent for being disruptive. And it's truly a skill, bro. Everybody doesn't have it. He has some of the most disruptive hands. He has the length to be disruptive, and he knows how to do that type of stuff. And so when you combine that with that high motor, you're gonna just do good stuff on the floor. You know what I mean? And I think he has a decent handle for what's being asked of him. I think Tari is a future starter, high level starter on a championship team. But he just has to start thinking the game at a higher level and just picking his battles better. But I think he'll get there, bro. I think it's capable. I think he's capable for sure.
For sure. Yeah,
definitely. Well, I'm really glad we started talking about Tari because our next game, Tari was our main guy. We won this game out here in Washington, 114-109, and Tari went crazy. I know the stats aren't 40 points and 20 rebounds, but man, he was hustling so hard that Wizards game. I believe he had that put back dunk, or he grabbed the rebound and went up with it. Man, Tari was great this game. 16, 8, and 4. We saw some of that playmaking as we're talking about. He had 2 kick-out passes. I believe one of them was to Josh over in the third quarter there. But Tari played really well this game. Jabari had 20 points and 5 boards. It was really nice to see Jabari just coming out and getting those mid-ranges going, those turnaround fades, letting everyone know that he's the big boy on this team. It was fantastic. And it was a solid defensive game from Jabari as well. And then Alperen Şengün with another double-double to end the season, 12, 12, and 6. I actually thought he was going to get a triple-double this game. I won't lie to you. He had 5 assists at the half. And going into it, I said, man, he just needs 5 more assists. This is his last game. He should cheese those assists real quick. But he didn't. It's all good. I'm not too mad about it. But with that, then battling the boards and in the paint, we had a field goal percentage of almost 50%, 44 out of 89 shots, which is fantastic, I would say, for a young team, but let alone any team. Shooting almost 50% to win a game is great. And we won yet again.
Yeah, for sure.
Battle 52, you were a +2 in that factor, which was absolutely awesome. And then
you cut out,
we had
so I
points
thought you
in the paint
stopped
battling down low. Oh, no, man, it's the internet, I think, kind of going on. But yeah, so points in the paint, we had 6-2 yet again, and we were at +10 in that factor. We really just busted DC down low. And as of course, again, we got to the free throw line 28 times. Now we shot 71%, but I wouldn't look at the percentage on this one. We missed. I'm okay with that from a young team, and we're not a great free throw shooting team as it is. So I'll take 20 out of 28 any day of the week from our guys. If we can get to the line 28 times, 20 is absolutely perfect for me. But yeah, I know you guys touched up on Tari quite a bit, but is there anything else you guys want to talk about from this game?
I don't know. I just feel like whenever I see over 70% from like the team shooting, for some reason I just feel like we were worse last year. But I need to like actually go and check because
we were last year.
Test.
We were worse last year.
We were.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I do. Hey, listen, man. I'm just proud of young guys for like at least stepping up to the plate because we weren't even getting foul shots last year. So
no, we wasn't.
And when we was getting foul shots,
yeah,
we were making.
We couldn't even make them.
Yeah.
I will say, like, do note that, like, isn't this like the Tari Iron Man game? So like, did he like play all games or whatever and get
82 games. Him and KJ.
Yeah, so like this is like one reason I wanted to like bring it up, which is like just highlighting that, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't like completely sure, but nonetheless though, like I mean, bro, like that just goes, you know, parallel to what we're talking about, like how good of a player he can be. I mean, like there are questions. I mean, like with any player we have on our team currently, but nonetheless though, being available is probably like one of the best things you can be as a good player. And so being available for all games, giving high effort, I would say like. I don't feel like he took off any games this year, right? I feel like you got the same Tari Eason pretty much throughout all 82. And so, nonetheless, I'm just like, I'm proud of his like availability. His shot is looking tremendously like better throughout the year. It's like to your point, Madison, kind of like, will it translate to the league? Will it not? I mean, like at one point in the season, it looked kind of iffy, like, he may be struggling as a shooter. But like once he got it figured out, it was like almost knocked down as a 3-point shooter, as a as a bailout 3-point shooter. So yeah, like I'm just like I'm glad we have this guy. That's all I can say. I can't say any more like good about him. I said all I can.
Yeah. No. So it was actually I went to this game, so I was there. It was a rough start effort wise. I thought the guys came out like lackadaisical. I was really disappointed. I was finally get to see my team play, and they come out here acting the way they act with that poor effort, man. Josh Christopher out here letting that nobody dribble past him over and over.
I can't keep letting you dog my guy Josh Christopher, man.
Bro.
I can't keep letting you do it.
What he need to get it together, dog. Because hey, bro, you gotta be able to do something other than create your own shot.
Yeah, than attack.
You just anything else, Josh Christopher, bro. Like, because it's really disappointing to see. You know, he had some really bad turnovers in the first quarter too.
Agree.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They got them out and running. Nobody was getting back on defense, including KJ and Jalen. You know what I mean? It was almost as Jalen was really lackadaisical. It was just tough to see. You know what I mean? But the second unit got it together with Tari, led with the effort, and finally getting it together. Jabari had an excellent game, and shout out to him. His mother was actually sitting right behind me.
Really?
And
That's
I
dope.
met her. Yeah, I met her.
Yeah,
She was cool.
really nice lady. She was cool. And, you know, I just told her to, you know, let them know that the Rockets fans love them. You know what I'm saying? And, you know,
we do
sticking with them. You know what I'm saying? And so she was really nice. And it was a great game, bro. Like, other than that, I was really upset that, you know, the starters didn't play in the fourth quarter. You know, like Jabari was the only starter that played in the fourth quarter. I came to see my guys play. You know what I mean?
You went on the last game of the season, though. Come on.
I mean, I live in D.C., my boy.
I know.
I can't, you know what I mean? I understand it's the last game of the season, but, you know, we still pay for them games. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, but you know, I mean, there were some nice highlight plays though. I went with the fam. Yeah. It was still a good, great game, and we got the dub. So that's all you can really ask for. But I will say it was interesting. Before I could leave my seat of the arena, the news dropped. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm still in the arena. I know this man ain't at the presser yet. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Madison, I was in Rockets watching. You know, they're bringing people up on stage within like the last 3 minutes. Before we could even get to the 2-minute mark, the news was hitting the chat. It was like, whoa. Hey, no, I mean, everyone was just going crazy, bro. It was wild.
Wow. Yeah. I was like,
I didn't expect it, bro. Like, I didn't expect it to be that fast. I don't know why they did it the way they did. I will say, though, I have as we get into it later, I have a theory that not even theory. Obviously, there has to be like a panel of different things that like are going to be swept out in the news cycle. My point is like there was a lot of things that were like given out in the news cycle when like the Rockets, you know, is going to release or going to move on from Steven Silas. But man, like a lot of stuff was released that day, and I think they just knew like, yeah, we got to release Friday. All this news coming out, this will be our best time to do it. Cause like, bro, they had articles written up already. Bro.
They did.
It was like they knew, yeah, we got to get this out that day, this time, with all this other news.
That hour,
pushing,
that minute.
Man.
Yeah, the game got pushed under the rug. Didn't nobody care about
nobody
that.
Cause look, Madison, people was gonna be mad that we won. They moved on from all that. Hold on, bro. And another thing was, I really rock with Ali Khan. Ali Khan came on the pod, and I feel like he knew because he kept hinting like, man, today's a good day. He kept saying it. Today's a good day. Today's a good day. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And Jackson is like, oh man, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So it's obviously some tweener jokes in between that. But I'm like, man, what are these guys talking about? Sure enough, man, Ali Khan, I'm gonna say it right now. Ali Khan got some connections if he knew that, because that came out. I'm like,
oh no, it looked like the worst kept secret. You know what I mean? Like,
right, the worst.
Everybody
knew.
Yeah, everybody knew. I mean, we all knew it was gonna happen. It was just like the time, and we just didn't know when the news was coming down. And yeah, so Ali Khan, Ali Khan, he's with the Athletic, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't want to lie to you.
Kelly Eco is with the Athletic, but
it's Eco and Ali Khan, I thought.
Yeah,
it's like Ali Khan doesn't do as much of the stuff that Eco does, but I think Ali Khan as well is with the Athletic, or used to be. So he's well connected. So
absolute, yeah. I like the guy. He's a great guy for sure. So it was like super fun. It was a fun day, bro. Like it was like crazy to see Twitter and all, man. Absolutely, it was wild.
Yeah, Twitter was blowing up. Yeah, well, I guess we're moving to our next slide right away. It was perfect segue. Just like IRL time, we just swept the Washington game on the rug there, moving right on to the main event, guys. The Silas experience. We got a couple quotes that are thrown up here, talking about some rotations, react, how
some of the worst quotes, right?
Yeah. When they was talking about Jabari, how we haven't ran very many plays for him, all that.
Your mic went out. But look though, nonetheless though, as we get into like the Silas experience, what I definitely wanted to know from you guys is like, I want to know each of you guys like highs and lows of the Steven Silas experience. Like I know we have a lot of bad things to say, but man, there had to be some good times too, no? Right? I mean, Read and React had to have some positive effects, no?
Yeah.
I'll say this. I enjoy Silas's out of timeout ATOs. I think he's one of the best ATO coaches I've seen. No
doubt. I would agree. Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And guys were able to execute his ATOs really well.
Yeah.
I think he was really good at that.
And his whole time here, he only had one bad play out of timeout.
Yeah, you know, I wish the defensive schematics were just as good out of timeout. But anything else that I would say? Well, okay, so honestly, I think Silas's read and react system was actually, I think his system could have worked. I think a lot of the stuff that system lended to the Rocket skill set were things that could have worked. I just don't think he weaponized it in the way that he was supposed to. You know what I mean? I don't think he put the type of wrinkles in, the things that could help guys' success. And I think it needed more structure. He needed to call more plays. He needed to do that to help those young guys out. But the system in and of itself, I think that system could have worked for this young team. And I think the guys will have learned a lot from playing in a read and react system. And so now, you know, next when they get this next coach that will be more structured for the young guys, I think it's for sure going to have a lot more structure. I think it's going to really help them because they had to freestyle so much in the beginning. So they'll be able to make adjustments their pace naturally as well. So I think that's all the positive I can say about Steven Silas. That's all I got. I did my best.
No, great job. Dante, you got something?
We'll get to negatives.
We'll get to the negative. Dante, you got any highs from the Steven Silas experience?
Well, pretty much what Madison more said, you know, his
you can't steal Madison's. No, I'm joking.
I'm basically agreeing with him. Basically, you know, his time out play calling looked pretty solid. Like I say, it ain't too much positive about Steven Silas, man.
What?
It ain't too, man.
I'm not gonna let y'all do this, man. Silas was the challenge king, bro. Silas was the challenge king, man.
Come on, bro. Come on.
I think his system. It's just his system. I don't believe, you know, we didn't have, first of all, we didn't have the shooting. I don't think we had too much of the personnel for the system to actually kind of work a little bit. So again, when this next coach come in, you know, it will, like I say, it will be more attitude. It will be more structured coming in. But I don't think we had the kind of players that can that fits in this system a little bit. I just don't think we had the players that can shoot the ball kind of well enough and to make a play consistently for Coach Steven Silas. And then I'll say it's the same shit about Steven Silas, man. But other than that, there ain't too much net positives, you know, to go on. But this type of team, I don't think Steven Silas was ready to be a head coach for this type of young, grown team. I just don't think he was kind of ready. I just think he's built more of I just think he could be more of a coach of a veteran team than a younger team. I just don't think this team right here, he should have been the coach of. I think it should have been more of a veteran team right here than this younger team right here.
Understood.
Yeah, that's very fair. Let's see, positives. I think we named the 3 things I had on my list. So I'm going to go with moments, if that's all right with you guys. I did like the first game out of the 2020-2021 season where we were on that 20-game losing streak. It was horrible. Things were worse than possible. And then Christian Wood came back and dropped 44 in a dub. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Shout out Christian Wood over in the Mavs. Hopefully you're enjoying Cancun.
I love Christian Wood, by the way, if y'all don't know.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Yeah. We support it. Also, shout out Vengeance Wood. That man be going crazy over Christian Wood on Twitter all the time. And then another moment was that Bucks game with KPJ, again from the 2020-21 season. That 50-11 ball, just absolutely phenomenal. That was great. Not necessarily entirely to coaching, but coaching had some influence on that, obviously. And then I would say Jalen's first 40 ball at the end of the Hawks last season. That was pretty beautiful. I know we did lose, but it helped the tank odds. Real nice over there. But other than that, that's all I got. I mean, just a couple moments. You guys really hit the nail on the head there for everything else.
You know, like, so the Steven Silas experience for me, like, I'll preface it by saying this, though. Like, I really do like Steven Silas as a person. You know what I mean? I do think that like he's a very don't do that to me. Come on,
He's
I'm
a good
being
guy.
serious, Madison. Don't do that to me, bro. He is a good guy.
Bro, you have no idea how tired I am of hearing that line, bro. You have, and people really don't know how much I do not give a fuck about that. Like, I'm
No,
it has nothing to do with
I couldn't think of nothing either.
At this point, it's an insult. Like, at this point, it's
Damn.
like at this point, you're insulting Steven Silas, bro. Like, real talk, because
that's fair.
like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, you know, one of my biggest things. Oh, I have so many. Let me just stop, bro. Before I get, I mean, one of the things that I used to hate that Steven Silas did is he used to get up on those pressers like he was about to cry, like head down.
He almost did on his exit
low,
one.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It just head down. Just, you know what I mean? Just come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Embody leadership, embody the fight that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? But you get up there, and I feel like they became sympathy parties. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like him using his likability, and everybody always feeling sorry for this man, bro. This is a grown man with a head coaching job. You know what I mean? Like,
is Madison saying that he manipulated everyone into liking him to keep his job? Is that what I'm hearing?
Bro, there's a lot of people that align with that.
It was just a little too much
he's
for
a
me,
likable
bro.
guy.
That's we just always felt ourselves falling into this. Let's feel sorry for this guy, or he's been done some ultimate wrong. Like, bro, nobody asked you to win games. That's not what we asked you to do, bro.
Yeah,
like nobody cared about you winning games, bro. And like I said, if the second half of the season this season was with 75%, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the first 25 games, the first quarter of the season being tough. You got to get these guys together. You know what I mean? They're not playing right. But that's the job of the coach. It shouldn't take you, you know, the first 75% of the games in order to reach your players in a way that they need to play together in that manner. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like there's a lot of excuses being made for Steven Silas because of how bad of a head coach he was. And that's just on the appeal. I just am tired of it. You know what I mean?
I'm
tired of the I feel sorry. And then, but we can get to straight basketball. You know, I don't want to take all of them. I went first.
You're good. You're good, bro.
Somebody else go, and then I'll just take. I promise you, I will have.
Well, look,
you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, start it off.
I'll finish by letting you know my high from Steven Silas' experience was John Lucas coaching. So the conversation what you were saying,
not even Silas. That's cheating.
Greatest highlights whenever Silas was away. That was some great games to watch. You guys would agree, right? Those are super fun to watch. High effort, a lot of shit talking. Man, like anyway, I will get that. But nonetheless, though, like I do want to say, even though Madison is saying what he's saying, I know why he says that. And I would agree. I do think that like Silas is like having like an auntie or a nice mom, or like it's just like it's like it's okay. Like it fits that mode of just like easy going, and it's okay. And I think that nonetheless, though, it's just not what we want from a head coach, and I think that's why he works so well as an assistant. I will say this though, like all due respect, I may disagree a lot with what he like his decisions or whatever. I do think that he did put in the work to get the opportunity. He has gotten that opportunity, and now it's like from here on, like I don't think he'll ever be a head coach again. But like, but like he will get a job, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And I think that like that's the same reason like his father had such a long tenure. It's like no disrespect to the late, you know, Silas Senior, but like he didn't have much success in the league outside of like his actual NBA career. So nonetheless, my point is like I think those names just have a ring to them. They understand the work and the effort and the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into like their whole 10 years. You know, like I think it's like 20 years for like Silas alone, Junior. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like that being said, he deserved this opportunity, but I can't even be like, you know what I mean? Like I can't be mad. You know what I mean? Like, and I think like even he said it at one point, right? He said that like it was fair, right? He said that. Okay, yeah,
that's a positive. That's a positive.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about, bro. Get up there and be a man about it, bro. Like, real talk. You know what I'm saying? I was treated fairly, bro. Like, I'm proud of the work that I did. I did what, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of what I got up here and came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was happy. One of the pressers, Silas, said something like, he said something like, I don't need anybody else's approval for me to know who I am as a coach. Like, I like that, bro. Like, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there was just too many of the other type of pressers. But I will say that that's a highlight. That last presser from Silas, I thought was an excellent presser. And it was a class act. Like, real talk. Like, that was just, you know what I'm saying? That was him standing strong, standing on his 2 feet on his work. And I appreciated that one.
For sure. For sure.
Right on. Yeah. Do you think so up here, you know, I've got something about coach and front office battles because, you know, often Stone would interject in some of Silas's teachings and interventions with his trainings and whatnot, or watching film. Do you think that presser towards the end, do you think he was sending any messages to the Rockets front office there? You know, talking about like, I can do this myself, this is me kind of thing, or no?
Well, to answer your question, bro, like, I don't think so. But, like, I will say that, like, there was some conversation points in his exit. I don't even want to call it his exit interview because, like, it was just, like, his presser. In his presser, he was just, like, kind of, like, identifying, like, his growth throughout the year. I think, like, to Madison's point, and feel free to, like, to chime in, was just, like, I think that he just come to a realization of, like, how far he has come and manned up. It was just well too late. Right? Like, this is like you're 3 years in, you were learning on the fly, learning on the job in one of the most like egregious situations as it pertains to like what you thought you were walking into versus what you actually ended up with. The hands you were dealt just were not the face card, right? You know what I'm saying? So nonetheless, when you come to like, you know, like, okay, for instance, if Steven Silas did get another head coach job, I bet money he would be much prepared for it. Than he, you know what I'm saying? So like, and no one has said that. Like, I feel like that's like truly like a point to be like to speak on. Like, I wonder how he would do with a second stint elsewhere, but I don't think he would get that because of how horrible. Like, if you look at the record,
because of the stint,
that's the worst record in NBA history. He'll be.
I mean, I don't even think. I think he won't get it because of his demeanor. I think his demeanor.
You don't think the way he went out though makes that a lot better?
It's gotta be the combo of all.
Showcases a lot of growth.
I just feel like this is why it took so long for him to get a coaching job as well. I don't think he screams coach. I don't think he has I don't think he lends himself to authority and respect. You know what I'm saying? In that manner, I think people like him. I think he's probably one of the smartest X's and O's guy. You know what I mean? I think he understands what it takes to win games schematically, but when it comes to garnering the respect and keeping a team together, you know what I mean? In that way, I think guys are listening to him because they like him as a nice guy, not because they respect him as a head coach sometimes. You know what I mean? And I think that might be but
that's fair.
Let me say this. It's complete speculation, guys. Like, I ain't in that locker room. I don't know how Silas gets down. I only know how the team played for him. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'll say.
Definitely. I mean, to your point though, it's like when we had John Lucas, right, for those couple games there. I mean, the entire energy from our bench, even from Eric Gordon, you know, was just. While he was still on the team, was just completely different than when Silas was coaching. You can pick any time. Go ahead.
I was like, can I time you out though? Like this is like a merger of both of you guys' points, right? So you said Silas is a good X&O guy, but it's just his demeanor doesn't command the respect or the authority, right? And then you're like, well, Lucas, you saw how like his approach to the game led to wins. Lucas, when he was the coach for those games, he was only implementing things that like Silas was doing. He still stuck to the game plan, but we won with those. So there's obviously something there to showcase that what Silas may have wanted could have worked. I just don't think that he was the guy to implement them. I think like that's why he was an assistant for so long. If you had hired John Lucas as your head coach, like because they didn't want to go the Kenny Atkinson route for whatever reason, I don't know. If Lucas was the head coach and you brought in Silas to be the assistant, which I don't know if he would have even did it because I think he was looking for the opportunity to be a head coach. That may have been a better option. You know what I mean? So just kind of bringing to light a lot of what you guys are saying because of the demeanor part, the authority part. A lot of guys, like, I don't know many people on this team that have stepped to John Lucas, right? And I think, what's the other guy from the Lakers, the head coach that we have now? Right. Not the head coach, but he was once a head coach. What's his name? He was once a head coach. Yeah, we have him on our staff.
Lana Hollins?
Yes. Yes, like even Hollins is a hard ass, but he don't. I mean, but he stayed in his place, so he didn't really get hyped with many people until like the latter part of the season. So my point is like those people command respect. They're no nonsense. They're older guys. You know how older people are. So like it makes sense. But for some reason, I agree though, nonetheless, and I think that's a very good point from both of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I say I think the system that Silas was trying to implement had the things necessary to produce on the court. Like Shin Hub was within that system. Like it had those elements within it. We just didn't run it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just didn't run it. We didn't take advantage of it. Like Silas knew like how to implement these guys in different ways. He just decided not to, whether it be him not trusting them to run it correctly, whether it be him not getting through to them in the locker room.
But Madison, they ignored him at times too, though.
They ignored him because of the experiences he's had before, right? I don't mean to cut you off, Madison.
Respect for him, yeah.
Yes,
I just think they lost respect for him. I think they
did too. I think they lost.
You lost the locker room.
I think they quit on him.
Yeah, I think they gave up on him. I actually do think he lost the locker room. I actually think he did, and they stopped playing for him.
And this is what I had been suspecting that. But when we watched that Hornets game, and that was the game that his job was supposed to be on the line, and the effort they came out on defense, I was like, oh, they want him gone. You know what I mean? they want him gone. Thanks. Like, real talk, bro. That's not you standing behind your coach. And you know how I know? Because last year, we were on a 15-game losing streak.
15 game. We was like
and guess what? Silas's job was on the line in the Chicago Bulls game, and the guys came out there like they was going to war.
Yep.
They came out there like they were going to war. You see what I'm saying? And they won that game. They didn't care about Silas in that game. They thought they was going to finally get. You know what I'm saying?
They was going to get someone confident there.
That's proof enough. He lost the locker room to me. Like the guys didn't believe in what he was doing.
After I would say. Because like there's moments throughout both like all three seasons where you can say like he like lost the locker room, whatever. But definitely this season, I would say once we went on that 15-game losing streak, at that point at the end of it, they were kind of like, yeah, Silas, we out.
Well, so like losing a locker room doesn't mean you can't get it back. So let's not. I don't want like it's been numerous times where like he's lost respect, lost levels of respect from people, not just the locker room, from the front office, from ownership.
Yes.
There's been moments said about that. So like it's a numerous amount of things. I mean, plethora, if you may, just of like how often that man, like, what the F are you doing? What the F is going on? Like, you know what I mean? And so, but yeah, like, bro, there was like even reports, and we'll get into it if you guys want to, but like even reports that were like people just flat out did what they wanted to at points. You know what I mean? And like that's just like asinine to think. You know what I mean? So like when people, you know how like reports came out, I want to say a month ago to 2 months ago, with like the shit show that's in Houston, and people tried to make it seem like it was like Raphael Stone is the shit show, but like, was it really? You know what I mean? Like, was the shit show like the lack of respect for the head coach and how much just like blatant disrespect he got from like all parties, right? Not just like
all parties,
all parties, not just the front office. Go ahead.
And let me just say this. Adam Spolane, after all of this talk about Silas's head job came up during that same time, Spolane came out on the pod and talked about Stone interrupting meetings and just overstepping in these different ways, which to me, a lot of people took as being mad at Stone. But for me, that just was an indictment on Silas. You know what I mean?
I agree.
His ability not standing up on who he is as a coach and checking guys.
Or him being so bad at his job that his GM felt the need to do so.
Yes, that's the route I want. Yeah,
that as well. Either way, not good. But then we learned from the athletic article that this overstep, right, happened last year.
Right.
And he was checked, but the fact that it came out in that way in Spolane this year kind of misled everyone to think that these were the types of things that were going on right now.
Continuing.
And this is why we were seeing the on-court product that we were seeing today. This is why the practices were a joke, right? Because you got a GM coming in and waltzing in and overstepping and interrupting practices and meetings. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, bro, he had nothing to do with what we've seen this year. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't, you see what I'm saying? And it just goes, honestly, I think Silas would have done better without any of that trying to report, because it just, to me, it just was him trying to fight back, and it didn't go well. It just, to me, it wasn't like Stone is.
It was nothing. It's smoke screens and mirrors, and it's beating a dead horse. Like, you got to remember, like, throughout this year, we've gotten reports that were regurgitating of, like, KPJ's a problem. We got regurgitated reports of, like, all the shit show and the front office issues and shit like that. Like, what your point is, and Silas didn't get a fair shot. But, like, it seems as if people took the same, like, to your point, people took the same reports that we often knew about as Rocket fans, or that we were brought to, like, we were took to the water, but we had to choose to drink the truth or not. Those reports were already out. Those are from last year, from the first year, and we knew most of these things that were kind of like speculatory. But now that people can say them without giving out their sources, like, it's fair game now, right? But, like, most of the stuff we knew, and I feel like a lot of this drama that was, like, given to this year, because I'll say this. The reason why I'm saying it is because, again, going back to the press conference with Stephen Silas, it seems as if he took a lot of leaps and bounds and growths this year, not just for himself, but, like, even how his players viewed him, how his players worked hard for him, and, like, and stuff in regards to that. It seems as if, like, there was, like, points for which that he failed, but people still showed up for him, or again, to my point, he would win back the locker room, right? Because he would kind of, like, sometimes he would do the right thing, and then he'll backtrack and do the wrong shit, like, later on, right? And that would lose respect, but then he would garnish it back. So my point is, like, to your point, all that shit was just distractions. All the white noise and the KPJ banter and the front office banter, that's all excuses. Everyone knew this shit was coming, and they were just leaking shit or just basically saying, it's just not fair. Basically what most people were saying, that was like all national media. It's just not fair. And I just, like, no one cares, bro. Like, the shit just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it didn't work.
The shit was just ass. And, like, what's so fucking weird to me is, like, why don't the people who were here even speak to that shit? Like, why do they always blame it on Silas, Raphael Stone, but just don't, like, John Wall has never said, you know what, like, that shit was, like, just didn't work for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it always Raphael Stone? That like, I ponder about that a lot. So I wonder, like, how much that really just was, like, egoism or whatever. But, man, bro, like, everyone's like, they have to have Silas back. They have to protect the name. And it's super weird for me, like, how they, like, handled this whole year as far as, like, leaks and what the fuck is happening behind the scenes and et cetera, et cetera. But nonetheless, I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah. And it's not like that. Go ahead, Madison.
No, I would just say, like, in Rockets Watch, you've seen me in Rockets Watch talk to Roosh, Dave, as they were, you know, offering up some alternative criticism about the front office and Raphael Stone and the decisions he's made or lack of thereof, assets gained. And for me, I think Raphael has done an excellent job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, you see me have your back on that.
No,
yeah, no, real talk. Like, I think he's chosen the correct direction to go in. I think the time to judge him on how good he is this offseason, because this is when now he has the cap space and now he has everything he needs to, like, make this team more competitive and build a team. Now we're going to see what his team building philosophy looks like. But I always tell them, and they kind of, like, brush this off, but the decision to tank, to get an owner on board with being bad like this, that's not an easy thing to do. There are more,
or even just stay down, right? Like, Raphael's talked about that too. He stayed down, bro.
He could not do that with Les Alexander. He had to
to
build in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, and I think they take for granted. They're like, anybody can be bad. I could be bad. No. You have to sell that to your owner. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? You have to sell that to your owner. You got to get a whole organization on board with being bad so that you can be better in the future. You know what I mean? And you got to sell them on that plan. And like, bro, we take the Ben Simmons deal. You know what I'm saying? People were calling this dude out of pocket, out of names. You know what I'm saying? For not taking Ben Simmons, not getting Ben Simmons. You know, a lot of these culture and the start of how they talk negatively about the Rockets like started at that Ben Simmons, the Harden deal, and not getting Ben Simmons back in that deal. And I think it was the right decision. And you can see the writing
Madison,
on the wall.
to that point though, and I'm not gonna say any names, but because people went so hard on that trade, right? They couldn't backtrack it, so now people were like hypercritical of how everything else played out after that trade, right? Because like no one gives them credit for like the Clippers trade that just recently happened, right? But like because we were super critical about what should have been with the Harden trade and what did not happen, it's like I don't even think he has gotten a fair. Well, he has gotten a fair shot, but I don't think that like I think it's just like again hypercritical or it's like overboard at times. But continue. I'm sorry.
And also impatient. You know
impatient
what I mean? Like,
too. Yeah.
The whole Eric Gordon situation just seems like a lot of people were being impatient. You know what I mean? Like, and Rafael understood that value and wanted to extract value for the future. And if he couldn't get what he wanted for Eric Gordon, he felt that keeping him on the team, he can try and get it later, and he did. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's just like I think kind of realize like, hey, we kind of being impatient about a lot of this stuff, and GMs is more of a 6 to 10 year plan than a first 2-3 years. You know what I mean? It's just like. Yeah,
and to that point, you're speaking facts here. Like this is a very good point. I would like everyone to like understand this. Like when we talk about patience and like also when we talk about team building and making deals, relationships have to be curated. Rafael Stone is new to this, so like you don't get to just like make those big balling ass decisions without like some cost or opportunity cost involved with that, right? So you have to like know who you're dealing with, know what they like, know how to help those teams and curate relationships. I don't know how much respect Rafael Stone has around the league as amongst his peers, but like you don't get like to make the like I forget. Tell me the Thunder's GM name again. Presti. Yes, you don't get to beat Presti by just walking into a GM spot and expecting to like will and deal with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot of curation, bro. Like it doesn't just happen, you know?
Right, a lot of relationship building, and I think Rafael's going to be fine. I generally agree with Rafael's basketball philosophy. I think a lot of stuff like this KPJ stuff that we see going on, I think a lot of that is just Rafael putting a positive face out to the media. You see what I'm saying? Like he's not going to bash his players. You know what I mean? Because it's bad for their value. There's nothing productive that comes from that. You know what I mean? Right. And so like I'm in the wait and see situation. I think the deal that he got, KPJ, was a hedge. It's the type of hedge that GMs should make. You know what I mean? On young, talented guys, especially when you watch them put in the offseason that they put in. I think what they do with KPJ this coming year, it's going to tell me a lot about how he really feels about KPJ. You know what I mean? Like I just think that people. It's not time. It's not time to make those decisions. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like we were all on board with seeing what KPJ had at the beginning of this year, but everybody wanted to criticize him for giving KPJ this year to, you know what I'm saying? He didn't play as well as they wanted him to play, and everybody wanted to criticize Rafael as if he didn't provide what he was supposed to provide. And I was just like, but we were all on board with this. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Right. And so like hindsight is 20/20. But now we've seen it. We all know how to move on from that experiment at point guard. Now I'm going to judge Rafael if we're starting next year with KPJ at point guard. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's time to make that change.
And also, like last note on that topic too is like I think a lot of it has to do with the coach, right? Like who we bring in and what their philosophy is, and just like all those things like go together. So agree. Like I think he made a mistake in the past of making sly comments on what he like expects or what he thinks, but like that's okay. He's young into the game. He'll get better. He's been around like as in the front office, but just not as like in the role. So nonetheless, I never want to see him make like remarks about his current players and how like you have to be smart with the way you sell them, you know. And I think that like he did a good job. Like to your point, I won't say it's the best way because he could have got some a higher pick or a different type of pick for Eric Gordon. But like I'm the type of person whenever I make deals and any type of deals I do with whether it's real estate or anything like whenever I am going to sell something to you, I either get what I want or I'll risk taking whatever I can later. And I'm okay and I can live with that. And I think that's how some people make their deals. And I think that's also comes with a way of building or developing respect amongst your peers. Like, well, look, I go ahead.
Yeah, I just to make one last point, look at how the Christian Wood situation turned out for the Rockets. Look how it turned out for Dallas. Number one, the Rockets kept up this front facing that we believe Christian Wood can play with whatever guy we get in the draft. We knew it was three bigs coming in the draft. We believe Christian Wood is young enough to play with our young core. Nothing but positivity. Continue. After all of the negative reports were rolling out about Wood behind the scenes. All that, you know what I'm saying? The organization stood by that stuff. Said that this guy was a good guy. They defended him through the Athletic, through the Chronicle, through all of these different sites. You know what I mean? Stood by him and continued to speak positively about Christian Wood until they found a deal that they could do. And once they got, all it took was a late first rounder. Yep. They wouldn't trade Eric Gordon for a first rounder in that same draft.
True.
First rounder in that same draft. But as soon as they got the opportunity, it came out. Oh, they pulled the trigger. Then it all comes out. Now, Christian Wood, we weren't really banging with Christian Wood. You see what I'm saying? But they never did that front face. You know what I mean? Before they could make that deal happen. They were trying to extract, you know what I'm saying? But that it gives you insight to how this front office operates. You know what I mean? They're not going to bash their players while they're on the team. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to put out negative media about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because it hinders deals.
They had him thinking he was getting a contract extension. So
true. Yeah, I remember that.
And look at all the negative stuff that came out about Christian Wood with Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Look how Kid treated him. Like we were begging for Christian Wood to maybe not get so much ISO, and you know what I'm saying? This man, Jason Kidd benched that man. How you gonna trade him? How you gonna trade? You know what I'm saying? You done tanked his value. You know what I mean? Instead of
now he's walking this year.
Exactly. They couldn't net anything for Christian Wood. Yep. And I say that all to say. It's like that's a difference in front offices, man. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like that's a difference in how you handle things, how you let the world perceive you. Because honestly, there's a lot of media members calling for Christian Wood to play because he was putting up good numbers. You know what I mean? If you wanted to move off on him and get an asset, you should have been playing him and trying to build up his value. But your coach and your front office did not put a positive front facing. You know what I'm saying?
So let me get this straight from you, though, bro. You got me thinking now, and people are so biased because they hate the scoop stands and such. But could this be a case of for Kevin Porter Jr. as well? Is that what you're saying there?
That's Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard. Yes. You know what I mean? I think. So first of all, number one, I think they signed that contract because we needed some substantial salary on this roster. And we traded Eric Gordon, yes. Yeah. Right? So if we're talking about getting better through the trade market, we're talking about trading Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah. Who else has a contract?
But so this is my thing. Like when I talk or listen to people talk, because I don't even engage with this conversation because it's so frustrating. People will say, hey, we can't get even a first for Kevin Porter Jr., right? That's what people say. And I just don't. Go ahead.
You don't. The Kevin Porter Jr.'s value is not as you're adding a player. His value is that he's an expiring contract,
correct,
with a lot of money on it. And what you're going to be giving, what you're going to be giving of value to the team is draft picks. Okay, this treasure trove of draft picks, right? So I can give you an expiring contract, right? That with $20 million, so you get all this cap room. in the offseason after this year. You get assets, right, to continue to help your team build. And Kevin is just a player on the team. You know what I mean? It's salary filler. You see what I'm saying? And so we're talking about, oh, we want to get better. I don't know how many more ways to get better with this free agency class. You know what I mean? Like, it's not many players in this free agency class to overpay. And if you're talking about getting better through trade, you're talking about trading Kevin Porter Jr. That's what you're talking about. And so, and it's important that there is positive PR out there for Kevin Porter Jr. for a team to even want to bring him into that locker room. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't need to be feeling like they're going to bring a cancer into the locker room. They were like, oh, we might not believe in Kevin Porter Jr., but he can come in here. You know what I mean?
Come in and hoop for a little bit. I laugh at this all the time because wouldn't it be just hilarious if because I don't want Jaylen Brown. Everyone on this pod has said this before, but wouldn't it be hilarious to trade Kevin Porter to Boston and have him up there with oh my God, what is Bill's last name? The podcast host.
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons. Wouldn't it be hilarious to see Bill Simmons have to support this young man after all this shit? Wouldn't that be hilarious, bro?
Yeah.
Karma.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm just not as sold. You know what I'm saying?
That's all. I agree.
On the reports that we're, Rafael Stone, Kevin Porter Jr. is a Rafael Stone guy. No, Rafael Stone don't put negative stuff out about his players because he knows he needs positive outlooks on them. They learned that big lesson with Chris Paul.
Yep.
That I could not remember who it was, but that's it right there. I cannot remember who. They made one mistake. That was the one mistake the GM made and the owner made, and they both learned from it, and they never made it again. And that's true. I agree.
We're gonna talk positive about our players. you ain't gonna hear me bashing them. That's how they feel. Like, you see what I'm saying?
For sure. Hey, so look, bro. Like, I think it's like, as we close out here because we've been on for a while, and I don't want to take all your time, but I think it's like super, like, I don't know, not just unique, but something worth talking about. I think a lot of us have been like hearing, at least on the streets, that Grant Williams is like a free agent target for us. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. How do you feel about Grant Williams? It just came up last week. A lot through Rockets Watch. A lot of people in the chat on Twitter were talking about it. Is that like still somebody you want to target? And if we do go for him, should we just go ahead and go for like the full Jaylen Brown thing? So, like, what would it take to get him and Jaylen Brown? Would you rather just get him and sign him? Like, what's your whole take on like taking a piece of the Celtics, applying it here, and maybe that shit comes with like Udoka as well?
That was a lot. I'll start here. Grant Williams, I'd love to have him. I'd love to have him. You know what I'm saying? I think Grant Williams is the type of vet that can teach our guys how to play defense. He has versatility. He can play 3 through 5. You know what I'm saying? He can guard 3 through 5. He has a lot of versatility. We'd probably have to give up Tate or KJ to even,
shit, I'm okay with that.
I give him up. Yep.
Boston doesn't want to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna pay him to, be a vet. But those are the type of vets that we should be looking for. I think Grant Williams and Cam Johnson are two of my top targets. And I think I'd also you
want them either or together.
I prefer either or because I think you're gonna have to overpay for both, right? Okay. And I think their roles are kind of interchangeable, and I still want to give minutes for the young wings to develop as well, right? So I like them to come in as starters, you know what I'm saying, and then like Tari Eason back one of them up because I think they have a lot more upside, and I think. As far as like, I think their job is going to be just as much about winning as it is about being a good vet and developing these young guys as well. And I'd like to get either Grant or Cam, and I'd like if we strike out on Harden and Scoot in the draft, I think we should go all in for Fred VanVleet.
Fred over Trey Jones.
Fred talk, bro.
Fred over Trey Jones.
Yeah, man. Fred over.
So wait, because I was gonna say the point guard shit till the end, but because you brought it up, So I was saying I would rather go after Tyus. Is it Tyus Jones, right?
Or Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd rather go after Tyus Jones. I asked the guys. I say, hey, would you be okay with or willing to give up Ty Washington for Tyus Jones? I said yes, but since we have you here, you're our guest today. Tell me, would you be okay with that?
Steal. That's a steal.
That's a
But
steal?
I think we can get Tyus Jones with that Clippers pick easily.
But that's 20 though. That's 18 nights in the 20.
But you're gonna get a starting caliber point guard with one of the best assist to turnover ratio.
You want to start Tyus too? Okay.
Since 2015.
Yes.
One of the
Yeah,
best
for sure,
ratios.
Tyus.
But I'm thinking like, what if we get Scooter Harden and have Tyus come off the bench? That's what I was thinking.
I think their roles are redundant. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to
That's
be
good as a point guard.
I mean, they're paying Tyus Jones like $20 million a year. I'm not paying $20 million for a
that's
backup point guard. You see what I'm saying? Like that's too.
It's a lot of money going out.
Yeah, I think he's good for a young team though. Like I think he's a good leader. I think he's an extremely cerebral player. It's super efficient. You know what I mean? He's just a smaller guard. If he was bigger, he'd be a high level starter in this league. But I think he'll be a high level starter for the Rockets. You know that team doesn't miss a beat. Durant is out, and that's because of Tyus Jones.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And so I think he'd be an excellent choice if the Rockets could get Tyus Jones for that Clippers pick. I think that'd be excellent value, and you can bring him in to come start at the one. I'd worry about our wing defense a little bit, but I think he's a good team defender. So you know,
I think Tyus is naturally a good defender, but it's like you said, size is an issue.
Yeah, he's just smaller. But no, I mean, I think he'll get guys lined up, and I think he can run our offense, and he can play on and off ball. I'd love him. I'd honestly love him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my choice too. Dante, you got any thoughts, brother?
Like I say, Tyus Jones again plays for a winning coach over there. I would love Tyus Jones, someone that don't turn the ball over. He also is a very good ball handler, can penetrate. He's got a devastating floater when he gets inside the paint, so he know how to finish. To be so small, you know how to finish above the rim and stuff like that. So I would love Tyus Jones, man. I would love Tyus Jones. Grant Williams will add some toughness. It's hard to move when you're posting him up. It's really hard to move him on the block when you're posting him up, and he also brings some of that leadership as well. But Tyus Jones hit the nail right on the head. Love him. Also can shoot the ball. Also can shoot the ball in the high 30s from the 3-point line. But him getting to the paint and being able to finish as a smaller guard, that's pretty impressive.
I feel like you get to like accelerate the development you expect from Ty Washington in getting Tyus Jones, which is why I said 1-for-1 would be a great deal. I don't know. Maybe we could do like a 1-for-1 with a swap. I don't know. I just don't know how Memphis actually values Tyus on like a trade scenario, real world conversation optic. But yeah, I would love him, bro. Like I said, like that's my guy. I'm big on. I don't know if you're gonna like this one, Madison, but I'm big on Draymond actually.
Yeah, we are.
I would prefer that one over like the Harden per se. The only reason I say that over Harden, not because I think Harden is bad or wouldn't work here. You would have to move on from KPJ in some shape or form as a point guard. He would be like either a 6-man or a wing, and it'd just be weird fit with that anyway. My point is that with Draymond, I think that you would get a cultural shift. You would get more movement implementation, no matter like who you bring in as a coach, right? He would have like some input on like how we run back cut screens and off ball movement and such. And I think also defensively, I think him playing as an undersized 3, 4, and 5, in my opinion. I think he's undersized at really pretty much all of those, except like not his wide, and it's all like as far as height and like athleticism. I think that Şengün would thrive with like being next to another high IQ player and understanding how to like be a high IQ defender, to your like earlier point on where like Şengün needs to be successful in the future. So I think like there's no way you can do Grant. Well, I'm not gonna say no way. I don't see a way you can do Grant Williams and Draymond. I don't see, but I do see a Draymond and Tyus. I think there's enough money to do that. I don't see a Draymond and Harden because there's just not enough money to do that and go get other players. So I guess it's just peculiar, bro. Like, I don't know. I would just like to see a way that we can acquire Draymond and still get other veteran talents on the team to like kind of play ball the right way.
So the Draymond issue is, for me, so the difference between Draymond and Draymond, all the intangibles, leadership, all the teaching our guys how to play defense, we probably won't find a better guy to do that than Draymond. But I do worry about the way we would utilize Draymond offensively with Şengün, with both of them being non-shooters and both of them being able to make up for not shooting with their playmaking at the top of the key, like as facilitators.
Well, I think the assumption would be Şengün wouldn't start those 2 years that he's here.
Yeah, no, he couldn't. Yeah,
he couldn't unless he developed a three and became like a stretch four for like spans in the game. It just wouldn't work in idea. So he would have to learn behind Draymond for a while. And Jabari would be the 5 for a while too, or the 4, but the 5 for like defensive assignment purposes.
But I'm all for Draymond teaching Jabari Smith how to impact
that too. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the dude that that I think I think have similar mentalities on defense and similar work ethics and thinking the game. And I think some of the stuff that Draymond could teach him, the tricks of the trade, you know what I mean? I think Jabari actually has the ability to go out there and do that stuff. So, I'm for that. But Grant Williams just has a bit more versatility. Like, I could see them playing Grant Williams, Şengün, and Jabari all on the floor at the same time. Right. I'm just saying, like there's versatility. There's more versatility with Grant because he can play the 3. You know what I mean? And so you can have these different type of lineups. You know what I mean? And 5 minutes for everybody.
Gotcha.
Most definitely. So
who y'all want for coach?
Oh, coach.
Oh, do you really? Well, look, I'll keep it simple.
Number one. Who y'all number one candidate?
Okay, Kenny Atkinson.
Okay.
You
should have been on Rockets. You should have been on the Spaces, man. They needed somebody to sell them on Kenny Atkinson.
Really?
I have. He's number 3 on my list. He's number 3.
What? Nah, you got to go. Get him out of here. Pack him up.
I like him. Number 3 is high.
No, that's not high enough. He's number 1. Look. Me and Dante. I would say I argue that I've been a Kenny Atkinson fan for a lot longer. I started following him in Brooklyn, so I don't know how long Dante has been, but I will say that like when I saw what he could do with D'Lo, because I was always like a D'Lo fan anyway, that kind of like showed me a lot of light of like who we were dealing with. I think like you immediately knew that's a no nonsense type of guy because he got D'Lo to like get into play, right?
Yeah,
they credited him to him for a lot of development for a lot of guys that existed in that tenure, and then you have to like remember like context too. Like the Brooklyn Nets were like supposed to be the worst for like a decade, right? And he got them out of that shit so easily with no thought, no problem, bro. I would hate to see him with Jabari and Jalen, bro. Like I would like he would do numbers with these guys. So not even getting to scheme. I'm just talking mentality, philosophy, and like just like persona types. You know what I'm saying? I think he has all the attributes as it is to be a successful coach and like being able to communicate, being able to lead, like all things you said earlier about like authoritative, you know what I mean? Definitive, you know what I'm saying? Even masculine in ways. Like I think a lot of his shit is strong and no nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
Bro.
Kenny Atkinson is number 1.
I'm gonna just tell you, bro. I think this is a generational coaching availability.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And in a generational coaching availability, 3 is high. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not. He the best of the group, bro. I know why you're saying that.
Who you have, Madison?
Hold on, before we ask him, y'all pick y'all so we know. So I don't want y'all cheating.
Is Kenny on? I know I want Frank, right? But like on this pod, it's Kenny Atkinson. He makes the most sense for our team all around.
Okay.
I mean, Kenny Atkinson, the same reason that you said, Pastor. I mean, what he did with D'Angelo Russell, how D'Angelo Russell career has turned around.
Caris LeVert. I was gonna say y'all leaving out the good ones.
Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen,
the better one. Bro, he had like 3 guards doing work, bro.
Yep. Dinwiddie to his ACL. He was an afterthought at first before Kenny Atkinson got a hold of him, Jared Allen in his younger years. And like I say, he turned that organization around. That organization was going down on the drain to that Boston Celtics trade, pretty much ruining Kenny Atkinson.
Ruined their whole shit, bro.
Yes. Pretty much that organization back up and running with all those. Then he also had a veteran in Jared Jack who will teach the young guys some stability a little bit in the locker room. So I really like the way he coaches up young guys. This guy is a legit head coach. So that's my number one guy to coach the Houston Rockets.
Hey, Madison, bro. The definition of a good coach, bro, in my opinion, that's just like one main part, is like how well do you fare in horrible situations, right? So that's all I'm gonna say. I would love to hear your point. Please tell me why is he number 3 in the top 3? Because I cannot fathom. Come on.
Because Nick Nurse is number 1. Clearly.
No, he's not.
I'm about to tell you why. I'm about to tell you why. The best development program in the league has been the Toronto Raptors, led by Nick Nurse. Number 2, Nick Nurse is a championship head coach, championship pedigree, right? This is the type of guy that not only has the resume to develop guys into good players, and not to mention that Toronto Raptors team is a bunch of role players. Kenny ain't the only one that's uplifting and rising the floors of just
mediocre players in a way.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. He ain't the only one with that resume. We seen everybody expected Toronto to be in the lottery last year. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Kenny Atkinson is one of X's and O's tactician. He's a no nonsense guy. You sit on the bench if you don't play defense for him. That's number 1. You don't get on the floor unless you play defense for.
That's why Kevin Durant got him fired, because they didn't want to put up with.
Well, that was Atkinson. That was Atkinson. I'm talking about Nurse. Nurse is the same way though. No. Nurse is the same way though. Like so it's plenty of players that came and had to sit on the bench because they came there in free agency and they was not locking in on defense. Nick Nurse don't play that, bro. And Nick Nurse is a X's and O's tactician. He really looks at what teams do best, and he's a great adjustment maker.
Yeah,
Kenny Atkinson.
That part I can't deny, though. I can't deny that part.
So let me say this: Kenny Atkinson is probably one of the best coaches available for our situation, right? Well, this young team that needs to develop, woo, right? But Nick Nurse not only has all of those skills, but he has the skills to also make your top end. Let's say Jalen and Jabari turn into superstars. It's a championship team. He has the type of pedigree to turn into a Greg Popovich type coach. You know what I mean? Where you were just a mainstay of your organization because you're just one of the top 3 coaches in the league. You know what I mean? And so when you add that with the developmental chops, developing Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, you know what I'm saying? All these great players, they go to Toronto and they just make productive players. That he's coming from that system. You see what I'm saying?
So I think that the only reason I disagree because I think that you just like Nick Nurse more. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell you why, but I just listening to you. You sound like me talking about Kenny Atkinson, but it's okay. So
don't protect. Don't protect.
I think development applies to both of them. I think more applies to Kenny because of what he did with less. So like when you talk about the draft, like Scotty Barnes hasn't gotten better. Please let me know.
Scotty Barnes is won Rookie of the Year. What are you talking about?
He threw up the same stats this year, almost exact.
But that's okay though.
It's not.
Improvement. That's the point of development.
That's not development. Jalen Green has gotten incrementally better with the worst head coach in NBA history.
Listen. Just hear me out. Okay. Development is not always linear, and you have to give each young player, once those teams got film on Scotty, you know what I'm saying? You have to come back and there's a whole different type of adjustment. Scotty was already overachieving. Like Scotty was already overachieving, doing more than his projections.
He wasn't supposed to be picked to be the number
3. But nah, y'all making these exceptions for it.
There's no exceptions, bro. Yeah. It's a process, okay? But this is what I'm gonna say. Fred VanVleet, undrafted. He's a better player than D'Angelo Russell. You know what I'm saying?
What? No, he's not better.
Fred VanVleet is
not better than D'Angelo Russell, bro. He's not better than. If you want to argue that they're on the same tier,
okay, I don't want to get bogged down. I don't want to get bogged down on this.
No, we're not gonna kick you out. We gonna do that.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta get bogged down on this because it's more than that. Pascal Siakam, was that a second rounder? You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Maximizing these players, bro. One after OG Anunoby.
Just hear me on this though. A lot of the success that you give him credit to, as far as like his win-loss column, is due to vets and superstars. So the Serge Ibaka's, Marc Gasol's, Kawhi Leonard's of the world, which is why like they won the championship. It wasn't so much about Fleet. That's one element. The other that's 25%. They were all
young players. They were all young players.
No, the Siakam had a breakout game towards the latter part of the playoffs. Fred VanVleet did his part, but Kawhi did way. I'm talking about 80% of that final group what's it called? Group project was Kawhi Leonard, bro, and that's Popovich. So I almost said Popovich. Oh my lord, that's crazy. Anyway, much respect to you, Pop. No, I'm sorry, bro. Anyway, Kenny Atkinson has done okay. So when we talk about it, look at his tenure in the G League, in the Brooklyn Nets, right? And then you talk about even understanding, like reading the room, like I'm talking about like self-actualization, right? They didn't want him there. He leaves, no problem. Didn't throw a fit. He goes to one of the best teams, not to like take over what Steve Kerr is doing, but like he went over there with humility to learn and even get better. So regardless of all the even playing field as to why like they're 1A and 1B, I think 1B, which is like, again, I actually called Kenny Atkinson 1B to Nick Nurse because I thought Nick Nurse was a better fit in Houston due to the relationship in Houston, but not because I think he's a better coach than Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny used to work in Houston.
Yeah, I know, but he does. I don't know if Kenny has relationship ties to like the GM and like Mahmoud and stuff like that.
He interviewed every coaching cycle.
Yeah, I know he did. I just don't know. I don't know the relationship ties. I know that Nurse. I didn't know them. Is my point. I know that Nurse did though.
I'll just say this. I think Nick Nurse can do the developmental. For me, he can do the developmental aspect, and he can increase your ceiling. You see what I'm saying?
But Atkinson can too.
Well, I think Atkinson is yet to prove that. When he got Kevin Durant on his team, he wasn't able to get those guys on board and aligned with his vision. When he was on the team.
Bro, that's not fair, bro. That's the job. That's not fair, bro. You sound like me, but on the other side.
But this is what I'm saying, bro. Like sometimes it's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying he hasn't proven it, while Nurse has.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's his fault. I think Kevin Durant was tripping, and he was like, "Hey, bro, Jared Allen needs to play, not DeAndre Jordan." You know what I'm saying? Like, right. These are the things that need to happen. You know what I'm saying? And he was right. You know what I'm saying? But a big part of that is relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And being able to get your superstars on board. And Atkinson had an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to do that with those type of players. And
I agree with that part. Yeah, I agree with that part.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying he can't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'd rather go with the guy who's proven to do both. You see what I'm saying?
And I'll end with this, and then we can finish up all we need to do. I'll end with this, like Kenny showing that I'm willing to go to a team that's not mine, learn the right ways to do it. He won a championship there as well, learning how to be around superstars. He learned a different scheme that he can pair with his own. And so that means we get two options, the two variations of what he can do when he comes here. I think for me, that just kind of outweighs all the other things that they seem to be pretty much even kill on. Whether you feel like one's a developer, well, they're both really good developers. If you feel like one's a no-nonsense guy, well, they're both really good no-nonsense guy, defensive guys. I agree with you, though. I think that there may be something around his like personability with superstars, but that's what he went to go work on. And I believe that he had a lot of self-actualization to be able to overcome that. So, nonetheless, I hear what you're saying. This is one we just have to disagree on.
That's cool. Good
Yeah,
conversation. I mean, these the type
one.
of conversations we gotta have, bro. These
I
are
know,
they're good. Yeah.
I know, for sure. Go ahead, Preston. I apologize.
Yeah, man. Hey, good conversations though. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Madison's making a good point for Nurse. I have Nurse number 2, just real quick here. But I mean, and he's an Iowa native, so you know, I think of Nurse a little bit different than maybe some other people. You know, hashtag Iowa. But I'm still with Kenny Atkinson at the end of the day, as of right now. But you both make fantastic points. Dante, do you have anything to add? Get a couple breaths in here because you know they just out here, you know, going.
Yeah, we was arguing.
My bad, y'all. My bad.
It's good.
I'm enjoying each and every one of it, man. I'm enjoying all of it. But like I say, no matter who out of those two, I would love to have both of them. Either one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can get both of them somehow, I mean,
I
I don't know what we got to do for that, but
I keep Nick Nurse away from my gray head coach.
Oh man. Well, with that, I think it's time for
our final tankathon, bro.
The last tank spin, guys. It's already here and it's updated. This is real cool here. I'm about to show you all this. Watch this.
Let's get it.
They have it slid up right now, so we got the timer down from the NBA draft. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yes, sir. So as of right now, we have the third best odds, the third worst record. We're tied, I guess, for second right now. The San Antonio Spurs.
Is that still a coin flip? Do you know anyone?
Yeah, it's gonna be a coin flip, I think.
Okay, it hasn't happened yet. Okay.
Gotcha.
No. It's probably gonna happen after the play-ins.
Play-ins. Okay, fair.
Gotcha. So there's our percentages all the way on the right side there for the number 1 overall pick. Goes all the way down here. Let's see. Before I take this spin, the last spin, do any of you guys have any predictions?
What's your prediction, bro? 2? All right. What you got, Dante?
Last time my prediction was 5. It went to 6, so I'm gonna go 4.
4. Preston, what you got?
Yeah, I'm feeling 3. 3 sounds like a good number today.
Oh man, y'all don't. Yeah, it's the last one of the season, and y'all so I'm going number 1, bro.
Well, I really hope because y'all know what I've been saying this whole time. Every day we on the pod, every time. Pray for Victor. Am I wrong?
No, it's shoot for scoop, baby. It's shoot for scoop, baby. We going number 1 and we take a scoop. We going number 1 and we take a scoop. Run that thing.
Oh my god. Number 2.
Oh, we got 2.
Number 2.
Hey, I'm a Brandon Miller guy on that one.
I can't believe Orlando.
Okay. Before we go, we coming up on the 2-hour mark. Guys, just know, me and Dante really do like Brandon Miller. Madison, if you want to give any quick thoughts before we head out on that, we would love to hear it. But we really do like Brandon Miller as such. I think running an offense. I didn't know Brandon Miller was 6'9". He looks smaller on the basketball screen. 6'9"? But yeah, he's 6'9". So Jabari, Brandon Miller, and Tari. I was told Brandon Miller was damn near PG. Tari was just Kawhi, and I was told Jabari's KD. So we can draft Kawhi, Paul George, and Kevin Durant. Bro, Nick Nurse, bring him here.
I trust Nick Nurse with Brandon Miller's development for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Brandon Miller is in the same tier of prospects like Paulo Banchero, Jabari Smith.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Really, I think he should be in conversation for number 1 picks throughout, right? But I think Scoot is just a tier above. I think Scoot's athleticism, combination of size and speed, wingspan. I've never seen a guy with his physical tools have the start and stop that he has at this point, at such a young age. And also, I think he's one of the most cerebral players I've ever seen in the draft. So when you combine all of those tools with like the cerebral nature, I think he could be as cerebral as Chris Paul out there. You know, like when you combine that, I don't think we've seen a player with Derrick Rose's tools and Chris Paul's IQ. You know what I mean? Like that's what you begin to blend when you get. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what you begin to blend. That's the type of upside I think Scoot has. Now, whether he gets there or not, I'm not sure. But I bet on Scoot becoming a superstar before I bet on Brandon Miller. I think agree. Brandon Miller with his size and his ability to handle and have primary skills, he is one of the safest picks in the draft. He has one of the most scalable outcomes. Like, no matter what, I think you're going to get a high-level starter. Like, you may just get Trey Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a high-level starter. But he also has the upside to be a Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum-esque wing with secondary playmaking ability, right?
Damn, I didn't even think the Tatums, bro. Oh, don't tell me that, dog.
I'm just saying
but that's a good comp, though. That's a good comp.
That's what I'm saying. He has scalability of outcomes. I think he can play on and off ball. You can actually use him as a movement shooter. You know what I mean? I think he has a lot of work to get done, and I think he's going to have a developmental path similar to Brandon Miller. Well, he's not going to be really good showing all-star upside till like his 4th, 5th year. You see what I'm saying? But I think that's okay because he can still be an impactful player as a 3-and-D guy right away. But I think because of strength, I think it's going to take a while for him to fill out his frame, and that is going to hurt his finishing. I think finishing at the rim is going to be really tough for him because he's just not going to be strong enough. He's already having problems in college. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so he has to improve his handle. I think he has to get his release point up a little bit more. Right? Like I think he needs more arc in his jump shot. But it has super good touch, and all of the things that's wrong with his game are very fixable. I think he plays with pace. I think he's an excellent passer. Better than Tatum and Ingram and all these other wings that we've been talking about. I think he's a better passer at the same point in their careers. So, I think there's I think there's a lot of scalable good outcomes for Brandon Miller, and he's an easy pick at 3. Like, honestly. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Appreciate that.
Yeah. For sure. Guys, if you want to start off, we'll go just in around the circle. Dante, start us off, say goodbye, and then if there's any closing thoughts, concerns right before we go. I mean, this is the last pod of the season, technically, so and then we'll start up our postseason stuff, and I cannot wait to start getting into that. But anyway, Dante, let them know where they can find you, and we'll move on.
Y'all can find me at Coach Dante. Y'all can find me at Coach Dante31 on Instagram. Y'all can find me on Twitter as Coach Dante that Rockets got on Twitter. Y'all can also find me at Coach Dante on YouTube. Just want to say we appreciate your service, Coach Steven Silas, and we wish you the best. That's all I want to say. Appreciate your service.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Early Guide. I will admit I'm all over the place, man. I trade stocks. I am all so if you see it on the TLs, because I'm talking shit in the morning, trading stocks. By night, I'm talking sports, and in between time, I'm talking politics. So follow me, keep up with me. I'm all over the place on Twitter. Love to engage with you all. Always catch me here and also in Rockets Watch as well. Just giving all my horrible takes and all my great takes and just living life, bro. So nonetheless, I'm at Earl of God on Twitter. Keep up with me. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to a better next season.
All right, appreciate y'all for having me. My name is Madison. Y'all can catch me on Twitter at @BadmanLeaks, and I also am a co-host of Locked On Rockets Weekly. So catch me on Twitter, interact with me. Let's talk Rockets. Have a good time.
Most definitely. We appreciate all you guys coming on as per usual. And then Madison, thank you for clearing some time out of your so busy schedule to come pop on with us, man. We love having you on at the H-Town Rundown episodes and podcasts here, man. And then you guys can finally follow me at drip_GAWD on both Twitter and Instagram. Guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for coming to join us today. And like we said, Silas, goodbye, man. Good luck at your next venture. Because guess what? It sure as hell ain't here.
Oh, man.